Welcome to the Figure It Out podcast.
Figure
It
out.
podcast.
Figure
It
out.
podcast.
Branding, content creation, and more. Because we're always living that marketing life.
Living
That marketing life.
I am Frank Ienzi from frankienzi.com. This is the first episode of the podcast. First of many. On this podcast, we will talk with guests who use social media in some way in their marketing strategies. Designers, digital marketers, creators, business owners, entrepreneurs, or anyone is trying to raise a brand. We talk about what they do, how they use social media, some of their marketing strategies, who they are, and what are their thoughts. In today's episode, I would like to introduce to you Frank Ienzi. Yes, that is me. Since it is the first episode, I want to give you an introduction to more about me, Frank Ienzi. I have spent a lot of time with social media and marketing. My ideas are open to anyone who wants to raise their social media presence. If you aren't online, you're in trouble. I want to share my story on why I decided to start making podcasts, to show everyone if they put in the work, you can achieve more than what you thought, and more than what you thought you were capable of doing. To show people they can grow if they believe. Here, marketing is fueled by education, inspiration, and motivation.
Marketing
is
fueled by
education,
inspiration
and motivation.
To see any change for the better, it is all worth it. So thank you for listening today. We will learn a bit more about my thoughts and views on social media and marketing. I'm Frank. Welcome to Figure It Out podcast,
figure
it
out.
podcast.
where we live that marketing life.
Living
That
Marketing life.
Is marketing difficult, or is marketing something that can be learned? What are the strategy and skills that we can learn? Is social media saturated? Is it worth committing to help my business grow? Am I trying to raise brand awareness? Where do I start? So let me start with my story. And by the end, I think it will be clear why I am big on social media, marketing, and getting to start my podcast. I was raised in Montreal until I was 10, then moved to Ottawa, and then moved to Hangzhou, China for 8 years, and now back to Ottawa. I will explain how moving to different places taught me about the world and how social media marketing grew on me. While I was growing up in Montreal, I was a huge WWF fan, which is now WWE. I wasn't a fan of the wrestling. I was a fan of the character story. In a way, each wrestler had their own brand. They had their colors, logos, and theme song. That grew on me. Whenever I got a new action figure, I'd always make storylines very similar to WWE. Since marketing is about bringing buyers and sellers together through creative storytelling, marketers must attract the right people, so their brand story can relate to the right people. For me, they are connecting to the people who want to get behind something to feel the same way towards a specific idea. I recently thought to myself, why do I try to be different? Why does my post need to stand out? How did I get here? Then I came to this realization by asking myself, why do I like branding? Why do I spend more time on creating creative content more than others? Why do I want people on my creative side? I am not talented when it comes to art, music, dance, or even acting. So why do I want to showcase my art? Air quotations. Social media lets me be creative through text, images, videos, and more. In a way, it is a poem, just with more computer software. So going back to WWE, I think because I was a fan of the storylines, it made me build a bond with the characters. I acknowledged everyone is different. Everything is different. Sometimes you are the hero, sometimes you're the villain, the underdog, and even the unknown. But either way, whatever the story is, there are people out there that can relate in some way. Moving from Montreal to Ottawa at the age of 10 was intense. I had friends in Montreal and I had none in Ottawa. I had to build my brand from scratch at a very young age. I wanted to make new friends, but it was hard. I had to learn how to be open and initiate conversation and learn how to adapt to a unique situation, which helped me many times down the road. Fast forward to high school, where I got a job for a market research firm. I would call strangers and conduct surveys over the phone. I was not a telemarketer. I was giving people the chance to voice their opinions on specific topics. The job taught me a lot about behind the scenes or how businesses would find information about their customers. I was asking questions for a lot of big box brands. Questions about customer feedback on a product, comparisons with the competition, colors of products, everything a company wanted to know. There were topics about political issues, medical questions, and more. Interacting with people from all over North America and listening to their views and opinions made me realize there is so much more work that goes into a brand. I remember one question I was asking Americans. If they were scared if China would buy all the oil in the world, that made me think, is China up to something that we don't know? Back to branding. It got me thinking, if you think about it, Politicians and their parties are brands, and they try to market themselves so you can relate to a specific brand. Being able to get strangers to answer tough questions and listening to different types of responses helped me to interact with anyone on or off the phone. I eventually became a customer service representative at a print shop after the market researcher job. Thinking that I could use my conversation skills with customers, I worked for a year and slowly saw horrible work drama and politics. I was lucky enough to move from full-time to part-time while in college. I decided to go to college for marketing. I learned all the aspects of marketing during my time in college. I was fortunate enough to have my print shop materials to be able to submit class reports, which made my reports stand out more. After I completed the marketing program, I decided to jump deeper into market research because I wanted to become a narrator for discussion groups. I felt that I know how to talk to people in a non-biased way and to be able to ask sensitive questions. I ended up completing the course but wanted a massive change in my life. The thing was, from the age 14 to 25, I had no time off, and I was surrounded by work drama for 11 years, and I haven't even started my career yet. I decided I needed to travel and make a change of scenery. And he always said it'd be a good idea to learn Mandarin, since China was booming at the time. So I had a few friends teaching in China, and I thought maybe I should go there. A lot of people supported me, some didn't, and some said it would hurt my resume, some said it would help my resume. I had a few friends teaching overseas as well, and they all said, just do it. So I ended up going to China after I finished college. I landed in Shanghai, and I still remember breathing the air for the first time, and the new exotic smell. At a young age, I moved to a new city, so I felt like I can do it again, which I did. I made my way to Hangzhou to start a new chapter in my life. I will explain more detail about the projects and marketing campaigns I worked on while I was in China in other later podcast episodes. Otherwise, we'd be here for too long. I will say what I learned from China taught me a lot when it comes to network marketing, social media, content creation, selling, promotions, branding, storytelling, and much more. I saw firsthand how they advertise, they promote, how China uses social media, how they market, and I have to say, it was beautiful to see. With more people and more brains and more competition, creativity was way up. I was able to incorporate a lot of their marketing methods for my projects that helped me build my brand. As I said, I would save my China marketing stories for later episodes. Alright, some parts I did not mention. Before I went to school for marketing, I applied for a broadcasting course at the same college. I failed the test required to be accepted. During my time in high school and some parts of college, I was always a social butterfly. I always had friends and was surrounded by friends and was liked by most. Then something happened that no one was ready for. Bam! Facebook came out. Most people jumped on it and I was not a fan. And this is terrible to say because if I was a real marketer, I should have embraced it. The sad thing is, I waited 3 years to get on. Everyone asks, why don't you have Facebook? It is up your alley. One thing I learned when I was younger, I was not a fan of change. I was so traditional. But over time, I changed my views to be more experimental. But now, I think I'm a content machine and I can make content out of anything. But before, I wouldn't even sign up for a social networking site. During my time in college, all the other big social media sites came out as well. Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I didn't realize the power of these social media sites before. With the way social networks are now, and with my experience in marketing, and with China, I understand social media and marketing more than most people. I don't look at social media posts, videos, ads the same way anymore. I always try to watch it from a creator's point of view. To me, it is art. Trying to see what the artist is thinking. In this case, the creator. Now to the podcast. Why am I starting? Me failing the broadcasting test back in the day meant I could not go to a school and learn under their name. But it's 2020 now. Anyone can make a blog, podcast, and video and upload it online. I enjoy talking with other people about their stories and exchanging experiences. We have the opportunity to live without anyone telling us we can't expand our network. With everything I have experienced and all the tools online, I want people to feel more comfortable when it comes to social media and marketing. Any business or even anyone trying to raise their brand awareness or their personal brand. I want to help educate, inspire, and motivate. We are at the end of the first episode of the podcast. Figure It Out podcast.
Figure
It
Out.
Podcast.
The podcast where we figure everything social media and marketing out. Follow, subscribe, and connect with me on one of the social media platforms. Let's chat either on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest. Just type Frank Ienzi. Frankienzi. Check out my website, frankienzi.com. Stay tuned for future episodes with future guests. Thank you for listening and keep living that marketing life.
Living.
That.
marketing life.
Stay safe. Cheers. Here, marketing is fueled by education, inspiration, and motivation.
Marketing
Is.
Fueled.
by
Education.
inspiration
And motivation.